Is this thing on? Can you hear me? If you're having trouble hearing me, let me know. I got a cool little mic plugged in, which doesn't always work, so it's not that cool. Hey, beauty, my darling. I've been wanting to jump on and go live all day, and I have been slammed, and I'm not complaining. That is totally awesome. Let me know how you're doing. How's life treating you out there? How are you feeling? How's the energies today? I woke up punchy. Yes, I did. Rah, rah, rah. It's all good. We'll talk about that more. But yeah, tell me how you're feeling. Because then that's going to help me know the direction to take this live. I'm here to be of service to you, beauty. What do you need? Need some healing? Need some readings? Need some prayer? Need some love? Need to do it with me? That's kind of where I'm at. Hey, I got a new deck, a new tarot card deck that I want to play with. It's always nice to sort of set the tone with some readings. Look at this. I don't know what it's called, but it's just gorgeous. It's the Rider-Waite deck, but gold and navy blue. Nothing wrong with that. They're so big, I can't shuffle them though. So I'm just gonna pull them down. Hey, I love you. Calmest day I've had this year, says Faizana. Lucky biatch. There's your card, lady. The star. You're rocking it. There we go. So here's the energies. The star, tarot card. There's nothing wrong with that. What does the star mean? Oh my gosh. Let me pull another card just to add to that. And the Ace of Pentacles. Wow, so the Ace of Pentacles, that's a powerful new beginning in the physical world. And the star represents all of our hopes and dreams. So we are right now in the energies today to be reaching for our hopes and dreams, to be reaching for everything we've ever wanted in this life. The foundation, which hand am I using? The foundation has been set, okay? We are manifesting in our reality. We have to keep the vision and not lose faith in the vision. That's what I'm getting really strongly with these two cards. You have to have faith in your heart and faith in your vision. I've been getting hammered recently by spirit about follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart. We did a live video. We went live on the Bava page yesterday. Yeah, Sunday. We do our Sunday service through the Bava Spiritual Mission. That's my church that I'm a part of. I'm a minister with the Bava Spiritual Mission, and I get to go live every week and do like a sermon on Facebook Live. So go to the Bava Facebook page and check that out if you haven't already. But I talked about that with our leadership minister, Yvonne, and we talked about following your heart. We talked about having the courage to go into your heart and follow your heart and bring your authenticity out into the world, because that is how we are divine service. And to me, these cards, your hopes, your dreams, and following your hearts, and the very concrete seed that has been planted. Pentacles are about the earth, okay? They're physical, they're grounded, the seed has been planted. So whatever you're feeling today, Miss Faizana having a nice, calm day. I'm not. I'm having a kind of day. But what is this? This is preparation. This is mulching. This is bringing to fruition, planting your garden for your hopes and dreams. And I've said this a couple of times recently, and I'm going to say it again because it's worth repeating. Your dreams, your heart's pull, not so much your one desire, but your heart's pull, I'll get into that in a minute, is how you are of service in this world, how you are of divine service. Okay, this is a new paradigm. You're not here to just cruise and drift along. You're here to be a part of the change that is happening on our planet, and from our planet all the way radiating out into this entire universe, because humans are so dang special that we set the energetic tone for this sliver of creation. And the way that we expand and reach the pinnacle of our highest vibration is by having the courage to follow your fucking heart. I am punchy. I'm doing all kinds of swearing on videos today. But it's really good, you know. There's power underneath that. So having the courage to follow your heart. And why is it hard to follow your heart? Because we're afraid. We're just scared. We're afraid to lose control. We want to be liked. We want to be good. But if you can just sink into your heart and take one step in the direction that your heart is pulling you, game changer. Everything in your life, all the energy in your life will begin to rearrange itself and open up the pathway for what you know to be your true path, following your heart, the pinnacle of your, I don't even want to say achievement. It's not about achievement. It's not about a destination. It's about a way of life. Stepping into the paradigm of love. It's the kind of life where you're cruising along and everything just kind of happens, right? You know, traffic parts ways, you hit every green light, people are smiling at you and you're smiling back, people have a nice response to you, nobody bitches at you anymore. People are approaching you with kindness and clarity, and you're doing the same for them. That's what the star signifies. And that can take all kinds of forms. There can be dreams, there can be desires. Desire is interesting because, you know, desire is the mental framework, the framework that your mind gives to your heart's pull. When we feel pulled in a direction, we immediately create a desire, and that's the mind's framework. And the desire, we tend to think, is going to be the be all end all. It's going to give us that feeling that we want. We think the desire is going to give us that feeling, the star, but it's not. It's one step. It's a signpost on the journey. It's not the destination. So that's pretty juicy today. That's pretty juicy. That makes me feel really happy. Okay, let me talk about this punchiness for a minute. I'm going to do a little bit of explaining about things like intensity that comes up. What am I feeling here? So I woke up today, I'll just talk about me for a minute. And then if you want to chime in with your comments and talk about you and what you're experiencing today, I want to help you get clarity on anything that comes up for you. Okay? Give me your juice and I'm going to give you some juice right back. And then let's together expand this container and help you step into the highest expression that is available to you today. So for me, I woke up, did it. I was all cranky. I wasn't cranky. I was like, I had anger coming up. And it was so interesting to watch my anger. It was so interesting to watch me project it out to, oh God, anybody who popped into my head, anything that popped into my head, oh, it's your fault. Oh, it's your fault. It's nobody's fault. My anger is mine to own. My anger is my power, but it is expressing itself in a bastardized way because somewhere, without realizing it most of the time, I have allowed my boundaries to be encroached upon. I have made compromises to my authentic core. And most of us are deeply conditioned to make those compromises. And I often say, especially women, I guess I don't know for sure if that's true, but it tends to feel like women in particular tend to compromise more readily than our beautiful male counterparts. But our beautiful male counterparts have their own stuff that they deal with. Like they're very conditioned to stay in their head and out of their feelings, much more so than women. We tend to be a little more allowed to hang out in the muck of our emotional experience. Men are very much expected to stay out of that, and they can express anger, but that's about it. But you know, what I'm talking about is for me today, that anger is signaling to me, oh, you're out of alignment, Ingrid. And it doesn't have to be any big thing. It's not like some big, huge thing needs to change in my life. It's me that needs to shift, that needs to identify where I am allowing myself to be encroached upon. Because it's my responsibility to let you know what's okay with me and what's not. It's not anybody else's responsibility to read my mind or intuit my boundaries, intuit my authenticity, my expression or lack of expression. Nobody, not my family, not my boyfriend, not my friends, not my students, nobody. My job, my responsibility. So, where does that bring you? Tell me more. So exciting. Well, I'm going to pull a card for Melissa then, because she's like, I'll take a card. Good girl. Just ask for it. What do we got? Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing for you, honey bunches. Big shifts are coming, big karmic shift. I would imagine that you've got your own sort of muck showing up in this experience, your own intensity. I feel like this kind of digging up, like digging up the dirt, digging up the soil when I see the Wheel of Fortune for you. The Wheel of Fortune is a great card. I mean, it's a really intense card. It's big changes, massive, massive changes. It's big karmic shifts. And big karmic shifts can feel good or they can feel not so good, but they are always positive. They're always expanding us. They're always attempting to bring us into our highest expression, to move us, to expand us out, to move us closer and closer to our divine core, our divine experience. The Wheel of Fortune, those karma, those big cyclical shifts, they're awesome. And they're also really challenging. So release the wheel, honey. Jesus, take the wheel and roll with the punches, because it's going to turn out how it's going to turn out, and it's all working for you. And on some level, Melissa, you invited this in. You pulled this experience in. You pulled these changes in. And it's going to be phenomenal. But you can make it much more fun, the process much more fun, if you relinquish control and allow the divine to tumble with you wherever it may. And enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Ha! Easier said than done. So there's something that came up in, I did a Bava class this morning. And at the beginning of the month, I like to do an energy healing for our community and then a channeled message for them as well. And what came up for them that I'll share with you, because it feels in alignment to do so, is the symbol of a leopard. And what I really got was like the stalking, the slow movement, the total presence with the experience. And in that slowness, in that presence, in that stalking, which is getting curious and being diligent, you know exactly when the right time is to pounce. Then you can completely and totally trust yourself. So do that with your emotional experience. Do that with your body's experience. Whatever's coming up for you, allow yourself to sort of dance around it, tiptoe around it, and observe it in the kind of detail that a leopard would observe its prey before it pounces. That feels really good to me. Stalking, pouncing. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Anybody else want a card since we're here? All right, I'll just pull one more and then we'll wrap it up. This was fun. No, there's something I want to talk about. There's something I want to talk about that was really interesting this morning. So every day I do what I call my soulmatic maintenance, which is where I ask myself, what's the story I'm telling myself today? Because stories are not very helpful. They keep you in your head. And with Soulmatic Renewal, with that practice, we want to get out of our head, put the story away, and get into our body and allow our body to take us through the emotional experience. Okay, take us through all the layers of the emotional experience. So that's my process for Soulmatic Renewal in the morning. I ask myself, what story am I telling myself today? Okay, so here's what happened. All right, I'm gonna get like intimate with you here. Yesterday, my beau and I, over this weekend, we ended up on an impromptu overnight in Fort Bragg. It was freaking phenomenal. I love that. I mean, we had nothing. We had no toothbrush. We had no change of clothes. We're just like, well, here we are. Let's get a hotel. So we got a hotel and it was great. And I took a shower that night and I'm standing there in front of the bathroom mirror. Here's the bathroom mirror. And then there's a mirror over here that's a full length mirror and gives me a whole body view. And then, so I don't have a full length mirror in my place. Like I just don't, pay too much attention. And then in this hotel, there's this big fluorescent light. So I'm standing there in front of the mirror and I'm looking at my body. And I look to the side and I look at my body, my full length body. Girl, I have so much cellulite. Oh my God. I was like, bump, 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 bump. And I've gotten a little bit up in my weight. I've had some health stuff come up and it's made me kind of go woo, woo, woo. And I'm kind of in the process of getting control of my body. But this triggered the shit out of me because I looked at my body and I was like, that's not attractive. Oh my God, all of this stuff came up around my body and my value and worth and attractiveness and just tied me up in knots. And like, I couldn't believe it was happening. I was like, am I that vain? Yes, my friends, I was that vain. I am that vain. So I went, okay. And I just kind of sat with it and felt kind of tried not to beat myself up. I've been doing a lot of exercises and eating really well now, but like, you know, that cellulite like really kind of got me. I was like, oh, that's a bumpy legs and bumpy butt. I was like, oh my gosh. And it really brought up tremendous amount of contraction and worth and just the ickiness. I didn't like it at all. Nope, 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 nope. Didn't like it at all. And this is sort of on top of, I've been doing a lot of work with Corporate Hippie Connection, and I love what I'm doing with them. And they're really freaking professional unit. So like we're doing videos, we're doing the makeup, we're doing, dressing to the nines. We're like really paying attention to our physical appearance because you have to with 4K footage. That's high definition. Like, God, look good, So I've started noticing myself paying more attention to my face and my, my body, and just like really noticing my appearance and feeling kind of weird about it. And then I caught this glimpse of my body, and I was like, oh Lord, so I was feeling, we're on the way home when we were driving back, we're like sitting in the car, and I'm like, I feel like I need to do squats. Let's squats like the whole time. Like it's just, oh God. So that was this weekend. And this morning I woke up, and maybe part of my punchiness was like, just kind of having that going on. But here's what was really interesting that I found. I'm going to share this with you because this struck me. I went through what story am I telling myself this morning, and I immediately came to, oh my God, my body is aging, it's falling apart, I'm not sexy anymore, it's like, and then where is my value, where is my worth, which is really grabbing in my heart of all places, which I thought was interesting. So I put the story on the shelf, and I went into my body. I said, okay, let's feel through this, feel through this, feel through this. And do you know what I got to? I got to this place of feeling a tremendous amount of pride and a tremendous amount of just bravery and pride that I was really sinking into. And it was just underneath this story of, oh, I have no value because I'm not as sexy as I used to be. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's true, though. There may be people out there who think cellulite is just hot stuff. I mean, I don't know. That's just what the message I got. But underneath that was a lot of pride and a lot of bravery. And I realized in that moment, it came through so clear, like, wow, your mind took you into an unworthiness story, did everything it could to pull you out of your experience of being proud of yourself, of being brave in this world, all the things that I really value about myself, my courage, my tenacity, my getting out there and doing this work, and be damned what they all say about me, and just showing up. My little ego went, oh, we could latch onto that. Let's hit the cellulite. Let's latch onto her bubbly butt, right? Make it all about that. And I feel much better now. I don't have the charge that I had around my body that I did a little bit ago. But it was very interesting to see my vanity show up. It was very interesting to see my ego show up. And it was really interesting to see what it pulled me out of. Because that place of pride and bravery, that's my authenticity. That's my authentic core. Not my butt and my legs. Whatever. So that was really interesting. I don't think I broke all the way through that yet. I think I'm going to be doing some more work around that, because that's a lot of cultural conditioning and familial conditioning that needs to be peeled away. And so it's a practice. This stuff is a practice, and we're never going to get it perfect. But the more we practice and the more we do this maintenance, this somatic renewal work, the more fully we step into our authentic core, the more brightly we shine, and the more we are of service to this world, to this incredible place. Minnie wants a card. All right, you got it, babe. Okay. Minnie. You got the Seven of Swords. Ooh, I feel my stomach just like some nausea happening. Minnie, I want you to be really conscious of the people that you're spending time with. This is not an accusation or an attack against anybody who you're spending time with, but I want you to be really conscious about who has your best interests at heart, who wants to see you expand, versus who is uncomfortable with your expansion and you're showing up brave and strong and in your mighty power, in your authenticity. Because here's the thing, people who are not committed to their own spiritual work, it makes them uncomfortable to see other people shifting and growing and changing. And that's what I feel for you. You're shifting and growing and changing and moving out of your old patterns and old behaviors and really becoming a new person. And you may have people in your environment with the Seven of Swords card who are having a hard time with that and may consciously or unconsciously want to sabotage that. I don't like to blame other people. I don't. But in our spiritual work, as doing this, in our spiritual life, we must be conscious of who we spend our time with, because Stuff gets in there. Stuff gets into our head. Comments gets into our head and can take our vibration down. You have to start out giving yourself a solid launching pad. Okay, that's something, like I said earlier, doing this incredible work with Corporate Hippie Connection. I love what I'm doing with them. I mean, like getting up in front of a camera, dressed in the nines, like on stage. Oh, that is so my jam. Yeah, like I'm really into it. But what did get into my head was the conversations about makeup and the wrinkles, and then eventually went to my body. That's not about Corporate Hippie Connection. That's not about what we're doing. That's about the stories that can get into my head, right? And just even from something that are dealing with, like an amazing entity. So you want to be really conscious about who you're around, all right, and what kind of stories are getting into your head from other people's experiences and opinions. Okay, so the swords are about the mind. You have to be real vigilant about your own mind. Okay. Natalie wants a card. Okay. And hey, if I'm pulling cards for other people, I want you to remember this stuff is evergreen. If it resonates with you, take it, grab hold of it and run with it. Spirit, my friend Lou Martin, he likes to say, spirit is efficient and he ain't wrong. Spirit will get to us through any crack in our experience to give us the message that we need. So, sweet Natalie, the Hierophant. Okay, what I'm getting from this card, Natalie, is you're going to have to go through the established structure, the way it's done. There's an established order that is going to take you where you need to go. Okay, it's going to get you to where you need to go. You tend to want to buck the system, but in this case, the system is going to get you where you need to go. It's going to be the shortest, most direct route. And then what I'm also hearing is that doesn't mean that you are, it doesn't mean you are mediocre. It doesn't mean you are like part of it. It doesn't mean that you're buying into it. It means that you're, how do I put, it means that you're using the structure that's available to you to get from point A to B as quickly as possible. I guess something with kids is what I'm feeling. That's something with kids, with a child maybe. So the Hierophant, you know, that there's a system in place and it's going to work out for you, but you have to let it work out for you. Don't buck the system for the sake of bucking the system. Move through the system and it's going to work out for you. It's going to get you where you need to go in the amount of time you need to go. Hey, Minnie, you got some feedback on the card I pulled for you, the Seven of Swords. Wow. Let's see. I can actually put this on the screen. Fancy pants. Wow. I've been pulling that card quite a bit lately. Thank you so much for putting that into perspective. Hey, you're welcome. You know, tarot cards are, it's interesting. A lot, you know, people like me to teach tarot cards, or they ask me to teach tarot cards. And I don't like to teach it because I consider tarot cards and divination tools actually an advanced practice. And here's why. Because it is very easy to get really heady with tarot cards or with runes or astrology or any kind of divination. Our mind so quickly wants to try and grab hold of something and create a container. And with our intuition, the goal is to get out of the way, to move the mind out of the way so that we can tap into divine source and bring through what's authentically for that person. And so I don't really teach divination until my students are much further along, until they've done a lot of work just practicing tapping into the field, bringing through spirit without any tools. But using tools when we're doing these videos, it's kind of cool because it gives you something to kind of hook in with. It gives me sort of whiteboard to use to bring through the message for you. So sometimes I'll use a tool and sometimes I won't. And I'll use a tool and I'll talk a little bit about it. And then you can see, you know, I get other stuff coming in as well. Faizana, this happened to me too many times, a couple times last month. The last time I blurted out, I actually heard myself outside of myself and started laughing out loud at myself because I sounded like me to a whiny kid. Isn't that funny when that happens? When we become the observer of our experience, everything just gets really silly. That's how you know you're really tapping into your God self, into your God heart, is when things start being funny, right? When you start looking at things and just going, just finding the humor in every little thing, and you stop taking your own BS seriously. You stop taking it personally. That's a big one. You don't want to take your bullshit seriously. It's not serious. Everybody's got it, and they probably got the same gunk you do. Humans, you know, we are so special. I just said earlier that, like, we are the core of the universe. We set the energetic tone, but we're also not that special in that our experience is probably not unique. We're all having the same experience dressed up differently in different packages with different bows, but it's the human experience. And it's so important to just let yourself have it without taking it too seriously. Okay. It just, I love that. It's just, you start busting out laughing because you're like, oh my God, my body, right? Like, whatever. Takes all types. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Jim, beautiful Jim wants a card. Yeah, this is fun pulling cards for you guys. Jim, I got the Page of Cups for you. I like that. Page of Cups, you know, this guy's gentle and there's a lot of water behind him and he's moving real gently through life. Just I see you, Jim, and this is very much your energy. Knowing you a little bit, I can see how this relates to you. It's like you're planting seeds of sweetness everywhere you go. I've really seen this the last few days from you. It's just they come out of your heart and you plant these seeds. When you communicate to people, the messages you give to people, it's so authentic. It's so heartfelt. It changes lives in a way that you probably don't realize. And Jim, I got news for you. You've done this your whole life, even when you've been really unconscious. The things that pop out of your mouth for people, the insights, the observations that you have about people, especially the observations you have about people and their work and their life, really groundbreaking in certain circumstances for people. So this is just a part of your energy and who you are. And that's really juicy. And I'm excited for you to really embrace that and know that about yourself, because we deserve to know what our gifts are. Have you ever heard that term? Have you ever heard that, oh, she's so beautiful, she doesn't even know it, that's why I love her. I love that she just doesn't even know how sweet she is, doesn't know how gorgeous she is, or like, you know, when we tend to prize this notion that somebody should be great, but they shouldn't know or acknowledge that they're great or what they're great at. Otherwise, they're like, you know, they're getting all uppity. Well, I got news for you. That is the back end way of the ego sabotaging yourself. Okay, so there's this ego that's like, rah, 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 look at me. And that's socially unacceptable. We're like, that's not okay. We don't like that. You are in my face. But then, so the ego goes, okay, that doesn't work. So a lot of times, especially with us spiritual folks, the ego will operate with this false humility. It'll be like, oh no, I don't know. I'm not, no, 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 no. And what that is that's the ego keeping you down. Even you may think it's real humility, or it might show up as not good enough. Like, I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I'm not that teacher. I'm not that enlightened. I'm not that awakened. Well, honey, if you're called to show up in any capacity, you are called to show up for people who are ready for you at that capacity. And as you expand your spiritual capacity, then the people who show up for you are going to show up in an expanded spiritual capacity. But back to this false humility, that's the way the ego comes around and gets you from the back. Okay. So what I got for you, Jim, is to really acknowledge your gifts, sink into what you love about yourself, what you know to be good and pure and true about yourself and your spiritual expression, and revel in it. It's so easy to just go push it aside and like, oh, I can't really look at it. No. But baby, this is a self-love paradigm. This new paradigm, this new earth is about love, 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 and it has to start with self, especially this early in the game. We have to get to the place where we love ourselves and we dive into our hearts and flower in our God essence from there. You can't go loving anybody or anything else until you give that to yourself. So Jim, start with, oh, this is my gift. I break ground with my kindness. You do. You break ground with your kindness. Well done, you. You're beautiful, and I love you. And thank you so much. Yeah, Ken, cool backgrounds on those cards. Aren't these so cool? Oh, I forgot to tell you where I got these at. So my guy and I were in Mendocino and Fort Bragg, and there's a beautiful woman named Cynthia who owns a store called Loot and Lore. And she's in this water tower in Mendocino on Albion Street. It's actually, I remember the address because I spent some time looking for it, 611 Albion Street. And so you go in to this, it's literally a converted water tower, and you see all this cool witchy stuff and like spiritual stuff, and she's got this spiral staircase. Her and I are talking about me driving down there to do readings in her store, which sounds really cool because, oh my God, Mendocino, Pacific, Mama Pacific, I love the ocean. It is so healing. I'm like, yes, I will drive down there and read tarot cards in your store. That'd be great. So we'll see how that goes. But that's where I got these at. And it was interesting. I was, you know, looking at her store, and I don't buy very much stuff because I just, you know, I like to think of myself as fairly minimalist. I don't actually live as a minimalist, but it's my intention to not have too much stuff. So I don't buy a lot. But I was in the store and I caught this sort of shelf and I went, oh, I have a new deck here. Okay. So when you're working with spirit and you're tuning in, you are tuning in and trusting yourself more and more. That's another incredible side effect of this soulmatic renewal work, which I'll talk about more in a minute. But I went, oh, there's a deck there. And I look along this shelf with all these decks. I'm like, there's none of them here. Okay. And then I just turn, like I'm going to turn almost like sort of a 180 to look at Cynthia, who's behind the counter. And I see it. I see it. I was like, ooh. And I felt my body go, ooh. And that's how I know spirit is like that one, because I'm dialed in, ooh, that one. So what was even cooler, because this is just the way that life opens up when you commit to your life with Holy Spirit, with God consciousness, and doing your freaking work, right? It was the last one is a display deck. So I got 10% off, and it was very cool. Loot and Lore in Mendocino. Wow, it is such a cool store. It's such a cool place. She just kicked butt with it. She's totally followed her heart, started it during a pandemic. She's doing great. She's doing great. I'm so proud of her. She's just amazing. Yeah. So, okay, this, I want to tell you a little story quickly. Actually, first I'm going to pull a card for Dane. Then I'm going to tell you another story about trusting yourself, which is really powerful. Okay, Mr. Dane. Oh, 10 of Swords. Okay, this card looks really terrible. And it is definitely the last throes of bullshit, is what it is. But the swords are about the mind. Okay, so this is where your mind gets the best of you. Because this is a 10, this is the end of a very difficult cycle. The next step for you is to step onto the master path of the mind. Whatever has been happening, they call this card darkest before the dawn. Okay, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's a BS card in that, like, ouch, it's an ouchie card. But from here out, things are going to start getting better. You have hit rock bottom. Okay. Now you start to clamber your way up. And because you are reaching the master path of the mind suit, your mind is what is going to pull you out of your difficult experiences. Okay. You're sharp. I want you to be confident, be honest with yourself, be honest with people around you, and take no more shit, my sweet Dane. Words are hard. Okay. Take no more BS. You got this. This is the last of the BS. From here on out, it's going to get better and better and better and better until you reach the crescendo. Okay, you are on your way to the crescendo of a new cycle. So enjoy it. As you know, everything in the world is cyclical. We've got the highs, we've got the lows, we've got the ebbs, we've got the flows, and it's all really beautiful. It's harder when you're taking your stuff personally. It's harder when you're really invested in an identity with what's going on, but you don't have to do that, Dane. You can ride this high, know that there's going to be an ebb that comes on the other side of it, but it's all serving you. It's all serving you. You have to dive into the soil to plant and bloom. You have to go into that darkness, but you're coming out of that. You are starting to bloom. So this is a really nice cycle for you that's starting, and you may not feel it quite yet, but you can probably sense that the end is near. The end of the BS is near, and I'm going to go ahead and confirm that for you. Okay. So yummy, yummy goodness. Okay, here's my other story I want to tell you. So I'm going to go back to my Soulmatic Renewal work. It's just amazing the things that happen when you really allow yourself the full experience. Okay, so most of us stay out of our difficult experiences. We run away from them. We run away by spinning a tale about it, by projecting, by blaming, by just wanting to feel better right now. That's a big one. We don't give ourselves the full experience of what is happening in the moment, of what is happening in our body. And we are not here for just the light and bright, and we're not here for just the dark and the muck. We're here for the whole spectrum of the human experience, going back to the ebbs and flows. It's all circles, 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 okay? So when you give yourself the gift of the full experience, you begin to trust yourself, because you go through these experiences that your mind has been like, nope, 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 scary, 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 stay out, stay out, stay out. When you let yourself have it and flow fully and deeply into your body, into your experience, and you break through years of conditioning and stories and stuck energy and stuck emotions, and you finally have the courage to just let yourself feel whatever has been dogging you that you have not let yourself feel for all those years, you come to a tremendous sense of freedom. But what I discovered, which I'm really into, is this place of trusting yourself like never before. And this really weird nuts and bolts way of it showing up for me recently, I want to share with you. My whole life, I have been really scared of heights, like to the point where I can't get closer than 3 feet to an edge without, and really feeling like I'm literally just going to like fall off, even if I'm 3 feet away. It's a phobia. And my poor kid growing up, right? So I was not easy on him. Anytime we were on high places, I was like, oh, losing it. I'm probably not helping him with his process with that, but we do the best we can until we know better. So I realized um, I was at the river the other day with my guy, and we were on a bridge overlooking the water. And normally I'm kind of like this, you know, like looking at the water. But I found myself leaning over, not just leaning over, but like all the way over, like half of my body was over, bending down. And I went, I'm not afraid of heights like I used to be. Like this isn't scaring me like it normally would. And immediately what came to me is like, that's because you trust yourself more now. And that trusting myself has been a direct result of really just allowing myself to feel and not running away from my emotions, from my experiences. And I'm really excited about that because I feel like that opens up a whole new world. I mean, mountain climbing, hiking, and I don't know, it's just very exciting. I'm gonna go high places, okay? I'm gonna go high. So yeah, Ken, you can totally have a card, my man. Let's pull this. Yeah, Dane, you're so welcome for the reading. I'm glad that was helpful. Jim, yes. Yeah, you're great. Love you madly, Jim. Okay, Ken, King of Cups. Hey, that's beautiful. Okay, so kings are the master path. They have mastery of that suit, and cups is about emotion and intuition. Ken, I can really feel my heart just woo as I'm reading this card for you, as I'm pulling this card for you. You have such, okay, what I've got here is you have such integrity and heart and soul, and you need to have a little more confidence in yourself, is what I'm getting. You need to have confidence that you can pull in people who will appreciate this side of you, who appreciate this piece of you. I feel like I'm picking up, there's a lot of stories and beliefs that men hold about, nice guys, and that people don't really appreciate their hearts and they don't appreciate their niceness or what have you. But I'm telling you that is a BS story and it's not true. And the more you can bolster that confidence, put yourself out there more. And I'm sort of getting relationship energy, like wanting to pull in a relationship or enhance a relationship. Put yourself out there more and express more of your heart. You've already got this big, juicy heart. Go ahead and open the doors a little bit. Show a little bit more. Be a little more vulnerable and see what that starts to bring into you, what kind of people that starts to attract you. I think you're really going to like it, Ken. I think you're really going to like it. Okay. Ladies and gents, I adore you. We're going on 40 minutes now. I have a class to teach tonight, and it's my first one of this subject matter. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare for that. But I'm very excited. It's a Soulmatic Renewal group. I'm taking a group through this incredible Soulmatic Renewal work. We're starting tonight and going for 4 weeks. So wish me luck. All right. I'm very excited, a little nervous about it, but I think it's going to be amazing because what I do is I just open up and I let God guide me. I say, God, guide me. I literally write that at the top of my paper before every session that I do. And we're just going to roll through it. So thank you for joining. Thank you for jumping on. It's been really fun to spend this time with you. I really enjoy going live and connecting with you and pulling cards and doing some teaching. And let me know if this has been helpful. I'm going to keep doing this, I think, because it feels good and it's fun. And if you keep showing up, all the better. Let me know if there's anything particular you want me to discuss, any topics you want to cover. I got lots and lots and lots of knowledge, and I've got a whole connection to this giant knowledge bank of spirit. I can channel anything. Nothing is off limits, okay? So in the meantime, thanks so much for everything. Love you like crazy. See you soon, Z's.